Hokies won today. I want to thank the crowd for coming out. I know the weather wasn't ideal, but it was great to have some folks in the stands. I know the players appreciate it. It was good to get some game operation the first quarter with a true clock and with a full crew out there. It was good work. Unfortunately, Kyron or Pop, neither one was available, but it was good work for those young quarterbacks. I'm looking out there at Keldon and AJ, and those guys should still be in high school. And they're out there trying to run the show. So, but there were some good things today. Had about 90 clips. And came out of it healthy, most importantly. Questions?
Questions for Coach? Start here with Andy. Big picture for the spring. Were you pleased with how spring practices go? Did you get what you wanted out of these workouts?
Yeah, I think so. You'd like to have had both your quarterbacks for the full go. We've got a couple young guys that weren't able to participate. Brody Adams and Overton and some other guys. But for the guys that were practicing, I thought we got really good work in. There's still things that we have to clean up, obviously, which I don't know if I've ever come out of a spring where you didn't. But, we had a fair amount of new learning on both sides of the ball. I thought we made pretty good headway there. We found some guys that developed, that turned the corner, that we weren't sure if they could help us or not in the fall, and it looks like they can. So the evaluation piece, learning some new things. I thought the competition was really good every practice. I thought the guys competed. We didn't have to prod them to do that. So that's a good sign as well. I think the coaches, the new staff, understanding how we do things, how we operate, day in, day out. That's not an easy transition, and I thought we did a nice job with that as well.
David, to you.
Brent, has Kyron had his procedure yet, and why wasn't Pop?
Kyron had his procedure on Wednesday, went well. Pop has a soft tissue injury. He did it on Tuesday, and we were hoping he'd be able to go today, and it wasn't well enough. If it had been a true game, he would have dressed out and given it a real shot. But I didn't want to set him back, so it just didn't make sense.
We'll go back in the room. Connor Arthur.
Hi, Coach. Connor Arthur, Virginia Tech Television. There were plenty of games going on within the community today. There was lacrosse, there was a doubleheader in baseball and softball, very big games. But how was the atmosphere and the fans turning out today? Or how was that kind of a big motivator for the players to kind of go out there and play as they did?
Yeah, it's a big weekend here in Blacksburg. I love that about our place. And, the Remembrance Run was this morning. As you mentioned, the other sports and their contests. And I thought despite the weather, we had a good turnout. The town is bustling. There's a lot going on. It's a good weekend for Hokies to be back in Blacksburg. So, yeah, I think our players appreciate that. We had a bunch of recruits here and their families. We've got guys on official visits. So, all that's important.
Back left, Brooke.
Coach, I have a few questions all about the same person. Jay Ricas, was that the offensive MVP award he won? I couldn't hear what that was.
That was that was the special teams MVP. Yes, ma'am.
And then he didn't dress out today. So what about, A, what's that about not dressing out, but B, what about him, makes him deserving of that award during the spring?
Yeah, I tell you, he's making progress offensively as a tight end, but we worked special teams each and every practice, and he shined most practices, whether it was technique, effort. He's earned himself playing time on special teams. He has a minor injury, again, that he wasn't cleared. He wanted to go, but just erring on the side of caution, it just didn't make sense to play him out there today.
David Cunningham.
You guys ran for 273 yards, average nearly 5 yards a carry. What did you like about some of the guys, Bennett, Hawkins, Mason and even Ryan had that long run.
Yeah, I tell you, I thought we ran the ball well today also. I thought the offensive line did a good job. I thought the backs hit it. We got to run lower. We got to put our pads down. I thought Hawkins did it one time on a short yardage situation. We got to do more of that. Bennett runs up right, but he finds a way to kind of snake through there and gain positive yards. And I think all three of those quarterbacks that played can run. That's evident. So it was a good day running the ball.
Front row, Damien.
Brent, the scoring system seems like it favors the defense with you.
You didn't have to say that. The offensive coaches were already mad. We're not supposed to start the spring game with 2 takeaways for touchdowns.
But, I mean, like you said, 2 takeaways for touchdowns. What would you like about the way the defense was flying around, and especially getting to work to like the 4th, 5th string guys?
Yeah, I think they all played hard. I think they all did fly to the ball, and that's where your turnovers happen. I think, unfortunately for the offense, we've done a nice job all spring in the takeaway category. We got to do a better job protecting the football. And honestly, I think those were both avoidable today. And that's what happens. You turn the ball over a couple times, and all of a sudden you're in a hole. So I did think the offense kind of clawed back slowly but surely. Had a chance to make it a game again. But I thought the defense played hard today, made some things happen.
This is just sort of one glimpse of spring ball as a whole. Are there position groups that you thought made big strides or needed to make big strides this spring?
I thought the offensive line, if I had to name a most improved group, could be those guys. But I was also very pleased with the secondary. The additions at safety out of the transfer portal, IBM, and then the young corners. I thought they had a really good spring. A couple of those guys surprised me. I think all 3 of the young corners will have a chance to play this fall.
What was it about the offensive line that you liked?
Yeah, I think they're playing together. I just see more consistency, less breakdowns. They communicate very well pre-snap. I think we got a chance to have a 6th, a 7th, maybe an 8th guy that can play. We're nowhere where we need to be, but I think we're doing some things right now that I haven't seen us do since I've been here.
Let's go Tim, then Steve and Mark.
Mark, won your guys, I think, most improved award. What have you seen coming up injured last year? What have you seen in his development this spring to kind of take steps towards potentially being a starter for you guys as well?
Yeah, I'll tell you, he made the most of his time while he was injured. He learned the playbook because he wasn't in a good place with it. He learned technique. He studied it so that when he was, cleared and able to play, he made the most of it. He was disruptive. We obviously all know he's very strong, but he's quick off the ball, explosive. He works very hard. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this summer and this camp to see where we can be come September.
And then Knowledge Carroll, I know, was working at that back at the nickel spot, made a couple plays today. Jordan Crimp was working in there, what seemed like the second-team defense pass breakups and the interception at the end. What have you seen from those 2 guys specifically as early enrollees? And are those 2 guys who you think could make an impact for this team this fall?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think all 3 of those young corners. I think JoJo, I think Deloach, I think Knowledge, all those guys, they have a maturity about them. It's not too big for them. That's what I told Knowledge after the series he had where he a couple nice tackles, a PBU. He doesn't look young out there. He looks like he's been in Lane Stadium, a bunch before. So I think all 3 of those guys can help us on teams and in some way, shape, or form at some point help us in the secondary.
Let's go Steve, Mark, and we'll finish with Damien.
How's the relationship with the new coordinators gone up to this point? What do you feel like you guys need to do between now and fall?
Relationship with me, with the team, yeah.
Everything you guys.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with what's happening with Sam and Phil. Very relatable to our guys. I think our guys have taken to both of them. Both sides of the ball are very excited about what we're doing. Obviously, as the head coach, I've asked guys as we got deep into spring, how do you feel? Do you like the offense? Do you like the defense? Do you like what we're doing? And everybody's been excited and pleased. I mean, we got a long way to go in both systems, but we had some carryover, but we've got some new things, of course. But those guys are smart. They got a good plan for what they want to do, who they want to be, what they want it to look like. A lot of confidence. And, we just got to put the work in. We need a lot of reps. We got to put the work in. But we got we're halfway through our off season. We got all summer and all camp left, so.
Aiden Green not only gave you a touchdown catch today, but also threw a touchdown pass. What did you think of that play, and what did you thought of his play overall this spring?
Yeah, he won our MVP offensively because it seemed like each and every practice he made some type of play, especially when we needed it. We do a lot of competitive situations in practice, and it come down to the last play, and if it's on Aiden's back, he's made the play. I don't think he's not made it the entire spring. Whether it's a catch in the end zone or, making a block or a deep ball, whatever the case. And as today, throwing for one. Aiden's a good athlete, talented guy, very confident. I'm excited about the year that he can have. He's got to stay humble and keep working his butt off.
Last one, David.
You had spoken quite highly of how the edges have played throughout spring. Ben Bell, we saw him in the sling.
Yeah.
Is that something where it's going to be long-term, or are you hoping that he's going to be ready come summer?
Yeah, he'll be cleared for summer. Yeah, he'll be cleared for summer. Again, he's one of those guys I wish he'd had, gotten another week or two. He made it almost through halfway point. But we got to make the most out of summer. And with the way the rules are now, you can do more football things all summer long to continue to grow, offensively, defensively with our techniques. We got to make the most of that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks everybody.